President Biden has announced that he's going to end the twin national emergencies for addressing the COVID-19 pandemic on May 11th. So that is going to be really like the final death knell for the federal government taking seriously the pandemic. We've already been making steps towards that. But the interesting little wrinkle is that while Biden announcing that is something that we might agree with, might disagree with, we can have a discussion. At the same time, Republicans are mad at him, not for doing it, but for trying to take credit for it. Marjorie Greene tweeted out, "Too late. Republicans already announced we're declaring COVID is over and passing it through the House this week. The GOP is leading on this issue and Biden is trying to take credit." Well, look, I think a fight over who gets credit for giving up on fighting a pandemic is a weird thing to do. But even inside of the case that you're making, you said we've already done this, we're gonna pass it in the House. Yeah, but you haven't passed it in the House, did you? So how do you get credit for something that you admit you haven't done yet? Anyway, I track the numbers, Elise, every day on the pandemic. I can tell you that in the most recent accounting, we had between 45 and 46,000 cases. That the test positivity rate right now is still at 11%, and over 500 people died in the most recent one-day reporting. So it doesn't feel to me like COVID is over. But I understand that it's complex and that a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about this. So what do you think about this announcement from President Biden?
It just what it reminds me of is this claim of for other issues of, guys, the economy's back. We're creating thousands of jobs a day, don't you know? And then you have people sitting at home that are like, I can barely make ends meet. I'm barely paying for rent. And it's the same thing with COVID. It's I'm afraid to go outside, and I'm immunocompromised. I have kids at home. Whatever it may be, or you just as a healthy person still don't feel safe because the risks. And it's the Biden administration. It's GOP lying to our faces when we are faced with the reality of how things are, whether that's for our health or the economy.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Tell to those people who are still worried about it that COVID is over. Tell to the people that are still dealing with long COVID and would love to figure out what sort of help is going to be presented to the millions of people like that. Or just tell it to COVID, Marjorie Greene. Tell COVID that it's over, and we'll see if it agrees. Like, oh, I hadn't realized. She acts as if it's like the Wile E. Coyote running off a cliff and not falling until he looks down and realizes. Like, you can't clue the virus into it. Either it's still there or it's not, and it still very much is here. And look, I will grant you that obviously things can't stay the same forever. I modify my behavior based on context. Took a trip to do a live show in San Francisco last weekend. I wore a mask during it, or not literally during the show, but during all of my interactions and as I was going around. But that said, I don't, like if I'm around one coworker here, I act accordingly. I just think that when you are in charge of the response, you should have a slightly different approach. And also, by the way, like if Joe Biden says that his view has changed based on context, maybe that means something, because after all, he did take it very seriously for some time. Marjorie Greene is like, no, I'm telling you honestly that it's over right now. Yeah, but you never accepted it. You never agreed that we needed to do anything. So you declaring it over now, what does that even mean? You wanted people to shoot up colloidal silver and deny vaccines. So I don't know, your approach to this isn't particularly important to me.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.